How is up, everyone? It's your boy, the Lady of the Lake. And today, we're going to do a quick analysis of the Legendary Corrin, who, for some reason, she has 3 legs, and as you can see from the skills that Corrin presented with, Corrin has made her choices of being as boring as possible, and quite frankly, I nearly fell asleep because 5 to all stats, because sky is blue, the grass is green, is all too common these days. This thing, I suppose, also has a built-in blade with that condition, and a reduced cooldown. Honestly, I think that would be awesome as a Gale Force weapon. If, dragons, for some reason, actually have Gale Force instead of not having Gale Force as part of their inherited skills. But anyway, well, I look upon the skills after. Negating Fangs, okay, that's actually fairly significant, since the evil Legendary Corrin now blocks 30% of all damage and range, instead of reflecting whatever she negated, like how Fjorm does it. She just straight up does a Draconic Aura with 30% of her attack back. That's pretty cute. That's pretty scary. The damage is fairly more significant, and this is one of the currently only option for dragons to have damage reduction, since close call for some reason. I think that it works well with the breath, because if this Corrin attacks, she could easily charge the shield. On her attack, she gets it because this blade does not calculate attack or anything. Just as long as you attack, get an extra charge. So she can attack. Then, when an enemy counterattack, she will reduce the damage, and then she attacks again with the extra damage, and then charges the shield back up again. Sounds familiar? Yeah, it's the same thing that I did with Infinite Mirror with Fjorm way back in the day. So, therefore, in my opinion, I think Shield Pulse is really not that great on her. At least, well, for player phase situations. Like, if, say, you don't engage with her for the first attack, then maybe Shield Pulse can be decent. But, still, when I think about it, if I were to build her for some reason, right, I think I would get no follow-up instead, because, well, since, dragons can't get close at all, and, maybe that's a good thing, because otherwise we have another case of Supreme Magic Bike again. But man, no follow-up is much more deadlier. It's a great defense tool as well, and that you can now get your shield pulse and all that nonsense up easily without having to worry about any accidental things where this dude can negate my follow-up attack, and now I can't attack, and now I don't have a shield, or something like that. I die! Well, in this case, this helps you out a little bit. If anything else, you negate enemy who can do guarantee follow-ups on you. So, it's a good and reliable. It works to keep Corrin healthy for both phases. Definitely recommend that if you're going to get bored. So, therefore, on paper, this Corrin looks pretty damn strong, right? Tanks everyone, doesn't afraid of anything. Even gets to use no follow-up on top of that. And it's colorless. No weaknesses. I thought about it. But in the end, I just don't see it that way. See, if this was me 3 years ago, right? I would have clamored about, ooh, colorless tank, oh, so powerful, no weakness, and such and such and such. Oh, and damage reduction on top of that. Wow-wee! I guess you power crap Fjorm, that's great and all, but, there's a reason why I haven't used Infinite Mirror for quite some time now, and there's a good reason for that. Yeah, I know, Corrin can reduce 30% from all sources. Oh, that's great, yeah. But then you have to also consider, ooh, what about AoE attacks? Yeah, that shit will very decisively fuck you up. Also have to consider the of guard rallies from Ruses. So unless you have like special spiral or something you might not be able to keep proper order either. Being a legendary hero means that you have to wait for specific seasons to get blessings, much like with Fjorm. And finally, colorless, though great for having no weakness, there's no strength either. And let me tell you something. The higher stats go, the more significant the weapon triangle is. I swear, I got to see it in a more extreme scale when I was playing bootleg Glory Emblem. Honestly, I think colorless might still be better as a player face option rather than an enemy face option. Colorless is reliable, but you know, when you're doing enemy phase, it's all about matching this color with that color. It's so easy, even a baby can do it. Colorless, well, you know, there might be times where these guys hit just a little too hard and can't do it. Whereas if you had matched colors, oh yeah, you can actually tank the attack, rip their face off, and etc. etc. So weapon triangle is still very significant, and being colorless does make it a little iffy for me now. I mean, I still kind of like not having weaknesses, but unless your stats get stacked really high, not to mention, you know, there are actually units who are strong against colorless units to begin with. Not that hard to build. Stupid Raven. Ruining my 6 Paths of Pain Plus. But anyway, so to this end, I'm a little unsure about this Corrin. Yeah, I'm sure she'll have great stats, and's a terrible beat stick, makes my stomach ache girl looks like a joke. But then again, I don't even use stomach ache girl that much since I got her while summoning for Duma as a byproduct. And now, her stomach aches so bad her stinky air turns into like liquid. It's disgusting. And I highly doubt I'll put her to much use, this Legendary Corrin to much use with her sticky liquid purple garbage. Since, well, tanks are best at +10. And you know what? Fire Emblem Heroes isn't like Glory Emblem. That allows you to merge without needing copies, or use feathers, or use souls to make sacrifices for focus units so that you can merge without having to, you know, spend thousands of orbs and dollars and etc. etc. So you can, like, you know, actually build units for fun. But, enough about that. But, you know, even if I did get her the +10, right? The previous issues I mentioned is still gonna make her a bit unattractive to me. I mean, yeah, the special is nice, reducing damage, striking for extra might be kinda cool if it can be inherited, but I mean, the lack of healing and sustain that something like Soul or Aether can give is kinda jarring. It actually makes me kinda worried, because people eventually will chip you down. That's how Aether raids is, if they don't outright just kill you. Considering that, you know, at best, also, you also have to work with a fancy 30% reduction instead of something that is like up all the time, like Bike, or if you're powered up like Supreme Magic Bike, 64%. So yeah, you reduce a whole lot more damage for less effort, and I just feel that that's a little bit better. And not to mention, oh yeah, blue units gets completely. Can't say the same for red, but you know, these are the kind of things that happen. But I don't know, I mean, then there's the AoE damage and all that. I just don't think that Corrin made a good choice. I think he made a bad choice there. I mean, she's a pretty good fodder, though. I mean, carrying joint drive attack, distant counter, and if you like, shield pulse. But at the end of the day, if I do summon, I would be summoning colorless for Milla and, to a lesser extent, Brahmiman. So that makes Corrin, once again, an unfortunate byproduct like that time I summoned for Duma. That's how I got her to +10 in the first place. I don't even use her. So, you know, what goes around comes around. Hey, Milla, I'm never gonna really get a Milla. I really honestly having regret merging Stomach Ache Girl back then, because that sudden panic might have been better served on Milla. Well, if I care enough to get her anyway, because Supreme Magic Bike is carrying me for light season. I don't need to do anything anymore. Like, my Aether race is just like this snooze fest where I just park Bike in front of everyone. Bike kills them all and heals up, and you know, that's pretty much it. So, in that token, I guess for this banner, I would be rather interested on red for Evil Magic Bike, but man, I have to put up with Eureka and hear it as a byproduct. And you know what? They're getting kind of old. They're Gen 2 and wow, that blue and green, there's nothing to write home about either. You know, that's what makes people quit this game. Because you invest on something, and then after a little bit of time, the power creep just makes them kind of irrelevant unless you build the right type of units, like Supreme Magic Bike or Edelgard. See, I find the whole legendary lineup these days might need a bit of an overhaul, given how 2 years half of the cast have found themselves power crept. Most of them even become completely irrelevant. I guess Eureka's lunar shtick is still kind of cool, but unless we're talking about a tool like that, or say Edelgard's Raging Storm, which can't be power crept due to it being tied to a useful mechanic, the banner just doesn't look as hot as they used to. You know, they're perfectly aligned, like what's going on with Colorless right now, with Milla and Corrin and Brahman. That's good, but that's about it. I don't even think it would be a good idea to go and try and summon for Evil Magic Bike, even though I want him so bad. It's not a good banner for him. Unless you like the other 2 units, but I think that's a bit of a mistake. Anyway, so maybe it's for that reason that I find myself susceptible to games like a bootleg game like Glory Emblem, so that, you know, I can relive the days of 2017, 2018, without all this fancy crap they have these days. It's kind of like playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Back before all this synchro, motorcycle crap and XYZ, whatever it is now these days. Yeah. But anyway, that's about it for me.